What's up, Conrad? How's everybody doing on this beautiful spring morning? As you can see behind me, I've got a couple of beagles who are laid out flat, which is the best way we can ask for them because these two things are obnoxious. God bless them.
Pat Patterson booked that. Looks like a double down.
It's a double down.
Where's Bryce Rimburg? Show us how he would count if when Rimsburg was in the room with you.
1, 2. And now when he does this now, after he gets the 3, he looks at me.
Yeah.
Like, you ready? Yeah. 3. Okay.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Bryce is something else, man. He's Bryce, I know we had him on this podcast before, but he's a good employee and he's a good hire for AEW. I don't know why he wasn't taken up by a big company before we came along. Don't know why.
Super great guy. And one of my favorite memories of being at a live wrestling show, an independent wrestling show, was way back in 2005. There was a kind of a crazy dream match, I think dreamed up by Rob Naylor on the message boards. And it was Necro Butcher versus Samoa Joe, and Bryce Rimsburg was the referee. That's the first time I remember hearing someone's skull hit concrete. Before that day, I didn't know what plasma sounded like when it hit the pavement. But thanks to Necro Butcher and Samoa Joe, I know now. And it was after AEW got started when it clicked for me. Wait a minute. I know Bryce from 05.
Yeah.
Like he was the referee during that massacre. It's crazy to think so many great talent, guys like Eddie Kingston and so many others, Orange Cassidy, they were just available. And now they're all much bigger stars. Kudos to AEW to creating some opportunities for guys who were well-deserved.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And Bryce is in charge of our travel.
Yeah.
And just does a great job. And I want to tell you right now, if you want to look around at a wrestling promotion and say, let me pick out the job in this wrestling promotion that is the biggest pain in the ass job that you can have, it would be travel. It would be travel.
Talent relations not far behind it. Creative,
no, you're right.
On that. Those are the worst three. Because no matter what you do, nobody's happy.
Nope. I've found that out. And nobody's happy. And it's my job to try to make them happy. And I like to say I'm pretty good at that because I know how to treat people. And Bryce is too. I've only seen Bryce get mad at one wrestler. And I'm not going to say who it was, but we were in Calgary for the Stampede. And Bryce was so irate. So irate. He was just going off. And I was going like, settle down, little fella. Settle down. But he was... he usually can keep his head about him.
Well, shout out to Bryce and shout out to all the hardworking folks behind the scenes at AEW. I know that it's an interesting time in the professional wrestling business because it feels like wrestling is hotter than ever. And it feels a little bit like the Monday Night Wars era in that it feels like there's some sort of new story developing every single day. I'm not saying about the competition between two companies and all that tribalism. I'm just saying, we went so long where it felt like, there wasn't a ton of major news or something to talk about, but it does feel like in the late 90s, man, every day there was some sort of new controversy, something new had everybody buzzing. And it feels like that's where we are now. Of course, on the other channel, they're getting ready for a big pay-per-view over in France in May.
Right.
But you guys, this weekend, my goodness.
Yeah. Coming up Sunday.
Yeah. I can't believe that's real. This weekend, the card for Dynasty looks to be one of the strongest AEW pay-per-view cards ever. I'm really excited for this one. And no matter where you are in your fandom, if you've been on the fence about, should you or shouldn't you, I want to encourage you to check out AEW on pay-per-view. Those dudes always deliver. I mean, it feels like they deliver consistently on pay-per-view. And I don't think this will be any exception this weekend, Tony, but when you take a look at the card, it really is not just a one-match show. And I know when this was first announced, everybody got so excited about Ospreay and Danielson. Right. That sort of feels like what everybody's talking about. But I want to remind you, you've also got another rematch with the Young Bucks and FTR. You've got Samoa Joe and Swerve Strickland. You've got Roderick Strong and Kyle O'Reilly. You got the House of Black taking on Mark Briscoe, Eddie Kingston, and Adam Copeland, Willow Nightingale, and Julia Hart, Tony Storm, and Thunder Rosa. Did I mention Okada and Pac? I mean, this is a loaded freaking card, dude. And it's coming up this weekend in St. Louis.
The Okada Pac match was the one to me that put it over the top because both are just tremendous performers. Pac is one of my all-time favorites. He really is. And then they made the World Tag Team title match a ladder match to add to that. So it's going to be some spectacular stuff. And I do get pumped up about pay-per-views. One of the reasons I get it pumped up about pay-per-views is I know I don't have to work the entire show. So I'm going to enjoy it. At the St. Louis, the fans last time we were in St. Louis were chanting, "We want a pay-per-view, we want a pay-per-view," and Tony gave it to him. So why not St. Louis? It's a good place to have great wrestling matches. One of our bonus podcasts that you and I did for the month of March that just dropped here in April, Flair and Bruiser Brody from St. Louis at the Checker Dome. So St. Louis always had great wrestling, and now it's going to be another one.
Well, I, for one, am fired up about this. I believe this will be the first ever singles match between Danielson and Ospreay, the first ever singles match with Okada and Pac. No matter where you are on your wrestling fandom, if you ever were a fan of the in-ring action, boy, they always deliver in spades in AEW. I can't wait for this weekend show. If I'm honest with you, it kind of snuck up on me. I was getting ready to say next weekend, but it's actually this weekend, this Sunday night.
Right.
It's going down 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. Of course, there's always that 0 hour, the pre-show. There'll be some action there and some interviews. And I am really pumped up about this, man. I don't know why I'm fired up about this pay-per-view in particular, but I think it's going to be an awesome effort. I don't remember being disappointed in many AEW pay-per-views, and I can't imagine this will be the exception.
No, some are better than the others. I don't think anyone who pays for it feels like they got gypped. I think anybody who pays for it feels like they got their money's worth. I know there's probably going to be people online who say it sucked, and of course that's tribalism again. But you know how I feel about those people. But anyway, boom, 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 ready to go.
Hey, go right now, AEWTIX.com. If you're in the St. Louis area, tickets are on sale. I'm scrolling around, and you can actually still get some pretty good seats. I'm looking in the lower level, and there's a handful of seats there. Not very many. I mean, I'd say like 8. But boy, they're still there, and they're great seats. So if you're on the fence, I have a feeling that everybody's going to be talking about this particular show. You want to be at it. It's St. Louis. It's this Sunday, AEW Dynasty, April 21st, AEWTIX.com. Here's the thing. I know we don't talk about current stuff, but I just got to get your opinion, because when I took a look at this card, I was so excited to see Ospreay and Danielson, and then excited to see Bucks and FTR, and then excited to see Okada and Pac. And I just kept going, and I was like, man, this is unbelievable. We got 2 women's matches on there, and they're great matches. Tony Storm, Thunder Rosa, Nightingale, and Julia Hart.
Right.
But no Mercedes Moné.
No.
So I guess that's going to be at the Vegas pay-per-view, right?
Yes, the Vegas pay-per-view. She's going to face hey, sweetheart, you want to be on camera? She's going to face the winner, I guess, or who's ever the TBS champion at that time. So not sure.
Is that Scout who just tried to jump on you?
That was Scout, yeah.
So
and that's Kirby Lane in the background.
Yes.
Right.
Of course, we're talking about Tony's dogs, and of course, the big part of our show that is no longer a part of the show is our man Biggity Bug. He was always sitting behind Tony for each and every one of our podcasts. Before Tony got knee deep back into wrestling, he was still pulling double duty, doing this podcast and still calling some baseball for the Gwinnett Braves. And he had his own bobblehead, and it wasn't just enough for Tony to have a bobblehead. We wanted to memorialize Bug. And now that's still out there. You can see those pop up every now and again on eBay. And Tony, during the course of this podcast, got a Bug tattoo, and we turned it into temporary tattoos on our shop and even made a shirt. And now we've got a new initiative. We're going to start pushing some Bug merch, and pushing some bug shirts. And we're not keeping any of the money. We're donating every bit of it to a great cause. Tell them about it, Tony.
The cause is Angels Among Us. It's where we got the two dogs that you're seeing behind me right now. It's there are many rescue sites, especially in Metro Atlanta, where I live in the metro area. And some of the bigger ones, like, and I'm not saying you shouldn't donate to these people, but like the Humane Society, the American Humane Society, National Humane, there's Atlanta Humane, but I prefer the smaller ones
Mm-hmm.
that really need your help. So Angels Among Us is the one that we're going to donate money uh, to from the sale of these shirts, and there's, God bless him. Look at that little boy. There he is. There's Bug, and there's these shirts. Proceeds go to Angels Among Us Animal Rescue. Go to lowestrules.com, lowestrules.com. Tell your friends. That's the reason. Even if they don't want a shirt, you can also get in touch with me. Most of you know that you can get in touch with me at helloslapdicks at gmail.com, and I can set you up to where you can donate to Angels Among Us, and let them know that you're donating on behalf of Bug, who was with me for 13 years, always by my side. And it was a horrible day that we had to put him down, but I made sure that he was in my lap, and I made sure that he was looking at me when he went to sleep. So there you go. Love your animals, take care of your animals, as we do here. So there you go.
Angels Among Us is a
Mhm.
non-profit rescue group, and it is an animal rescue, a 501c3. Strongly encourage you to check them out. It's been a big deal and a big part of Tony's life, and all the proceeds for these shirts will go directly to them. Find out more about them at angelsamongusaanimalrescue.org. That's
Mhm.
Angels Among Us Animalrescue.org. If you don't want a shirt, there is a button in the top right hand corner for you to click donate. But if you're going to be attending an AEW shirt and you want or an AEW show or a Tony Schiavone meet and greet and you want a little extra love, show up with his man Bug.
Yep.
Lowestrules.com is where you can pick up these shirts. And again, 100% of the proceeds goes directly to Angels Among Us Animal Rescue. Find out more about their great organization at angelsamongusaanimalrescue.org.
There's Angels Among Us everywhere. The one, of course, that we take care of or try to take care of, and we donate to every month. Money to every month is the one in the Atlanta area, but they are all
Oh,
over.
there you go. There you go. That's
Yeah.
great.